Alright guys, so now we've got our thing fully shaded. The next step is to add a background and put maybe a drop shadow in there. So I found some pictures on the internet, saved them up, and those are what I'm going to use. So you could also take your own picture if you wanted to. So I think I like this one. I'm going to grab it, drag it down to Photoshop, don't let go, drag it up, and let go of it. It's going to look like this with the blue lines. I'm going to drag it out until I like where it is. And it's not showing any transparency in the background, and hit the enter key. Now obviously I need it to be on the layer under my character, so that's what I'm going to do. My character right now is a little bit big, and I want to show the character to be smaller, but I've got my stuff on different layers. And one of the things I don't want to do is get rid of all my extra layers that I might need some help with later. So I'm going to create a group here. If you don't have a ton of layers, you don't necessarily have to create a group, but I am going to. I'm going to select all of these things that aren't the background and put them in a group, making sure that I don't take the order away. Keeping it ordered the way it was originally ordered. And then I can select the whole group, Control T to free transform. That's Control T, and I can grab the corner and drag it, and I can grab the character and move them. Okay? Then I can also hit the enter key here. Control 0 to fit screen. Now I got my character here. My character doesn't exactly match the background. If I wanted to, I could save another snapshot of him, hide the background, Control Alt Shift E, hide the group, bring the background back, and on this composite image I could go Image, Adjustments, Hue, Saturation. I can kind of like make it a little darker. I could kind of like make it more match the color patterns here if I wanted to. I'm not going to do that. I could also go here to color balance. Notice how I've got midtones, highlights, and shadows, so I can mess with all three of those. Maybe red it up a little bit, just so it kind of fits the scene a little better. Okay. We can go back to shadows and do some of the same thing, but I think that actually fits pretty well. Then, either way, whether I'm still in a group or on a layer, I'm going to click on the background and hit the plus button. So I've got a new layer, plus in a box down here, new layer. I'm going to get a shadow color. And I'm going to set my brush to 0% hardness, and I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow under my character. It's going to look kind of bad like that until I change the layer to multiply. And then I can reduce the opacity till it makes sense. If I wanted to, I could also go to filter up here. We've never used filter before. Blur, Gaussian blur. And I could use that to kind of soften the shadow even more if I needed to. I could even make the shadow almost disappear by blurring it so much that it goes outside any kind of barrier. I think that's pretty close. I'm going to say OK. Actually might mess with the opacity again now that I've made it so soft. I might darken it a little. Okay, and that's how I'm going to put a background on my character. I've got a drop shadow. If I wanted to, I could get the eraser tool, set that to 0% hardness, shape the shadow a little if I feel like it's off. That was probably too aggressive. That way I can kind of fine tune it if I want it to fit. Then, when I'm totally done with this, I'm going to go to File, Save As, and hit this drop down, make sure I choose JPEG. Now what if I open this and there's only 5 things and JPEG's not one of them? And I'm going to get out of here, hit cancel. And I'm going to go back and hit Edit, Preferences, File Handling. This was one of the first things we did when we got started. And I'm going to make sure this box Enable Legacy Save As right here is clicked. So this box should be clicked right here, Enable Legacy Save As. And I'm going to say OK, and then I'm going to go back to File Save As. And if it wasn't there before, JPEG will be there now. I'm not going to turn in a PSD file. I'm going to make sure the file that I turn in says .jpeg. If it doesn't say .jpeg, you'll get your project returned to you and not graded. So make sure it says .jpeg and hit save. And whatever pops up here, it's okay. You can just say okay to it. And now you've got a JPEG version of this just like that. All right, good luck.